Before the next episode of X Job Downloaded starts, I have a big favour to ask. If you've enjoyed any of our episodes so far, please can you click on the follow button on your platform. I'm on Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon and YouTube. It costs nothing to follow, but makes a real difference to me as a podcast producer. Thank you. This interview has been tape recorded. My name is Paul Maleary and this is X Job Downloaded. And today I'm going to interview Steve Hutley. Now, I interviewed Steve a year ago, almost to the day. But today it's really, really important that we get out the message around dog training and the way that dogs are being portrayed in the media. Now, Steve runs a very successful business called Rehabilitation and Training. He's a former Essex Police dog handler and his trade is all around dogs. Good morning, Steve.
Morning, Paul. Nice to see you again.
Good to see you too, mate. Now, we've done all your history, which is fascinating, and you were the first podcast that I actually carried out.
I was, yeah.
But we're a year on, and the media has gone absolutely ballistic around dangerous dogs and the XL bullies. Yeah. What's your take on all of this?
Yeah, I mean, it's been going for years. You know, there's always been dangerous dogs and different breeds. I remember as a kid back in the 70s, it was the Alsatian, you know, the German Shepherds that they are today. Yep. And then it was the Dobermans, the Rottweilers. Then recently in the 80s and 90s, it was the Staffies. And now it's XL Bullies, basically because they are a new breed, you know, although they are a crossbreed. And this is the issue, that there isn't a specific breed known as the XL Bully because they are a crossbreed, and they are mixed with so many different breeds of dogs.
A crossbreed with what though? I mean, is there American Pit Bull in there because they're a banned breed, aren't they?
Yeah, the original XL Bullies were crossbred with the Pit Bull Terriers, so they were a fighting dog. Over the years, they've been crossed with Mastiffs, the American Staffordshire Bull Terrier, which is totally different to the English Staffordshire Bull Terrier. Yeah, and that's the big cane corsos. You know, just creating what Stan Rawlinson, a dog behaviourist, has sort of coined the phrase the Frankenstein dog.
Right.
Basically over in America, particularly during lockdown when there wasn't much to do and dog breeding went through the roof. People over there were sort of messing around with the dog's DNA to try and create a bigger, fiercer, you know, dogs with bigger heads. So they just looked, you know, totally different, awesome, but they were technically, a Frankenstein's monster in creation.
And it's a real shame because some of them are beautiful looking dogs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's the thing. They are lovely dogs. And as I always say to people, no dog is born aggressive. It's all a learned behavior. But the aggression is bred into these dogs. They were born to be aggressive, born to be fighting dogs, and also using the DNA from the natural dogs that were bred to be protective dogs. You know, ever since we've had them from thousands of years when they, derived from the wolves, we bred them for specific purposes. Nowadays.
But a terrier is particularly tenacious, isn't it? A terrier will not give up. And if there's terrier in it, it's got that grab and never let go mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the big thing, you know, several years ago when all this hit the press about Staffies, and Staffies had the bad press, you know, because they were trained, they would grab hold of their prey and lock onto it, where a lot of dogs will bite and let go. And then hence Staffies were causing a lot more damage because they would bite, hold on and shake, you know, and if you're doing it to a young child, then as we know, there's been horrific cases involved.
And adults as well.
And adults, yeah. But that's the thing, you know, with a smaller dog, but a Staffy can obviously cause a lot of damage. And this is the thing, if it's a small dog, you know, every dog, as I said, has got a potential of biting someone, but you get bitten by, so, you know, a Chihuahua or a Cockapoo, yeah, it's going to hurt, but you're not going to, you know,
Yeah.
hopefully not going to die from it.
Well,
Bullies, as we know, can kill, you know, grown adults, and that is the big worry.
and I get it that there's this. It's almost two sides. There's two camps, isn't there? You've got the ones that don't like them, and you've got the ones who like them. And the ones who like them are very strong about the, you know, it's not the dog's fault, it's the owner, blah blah blah. But as you say, the aggression. Certain breeds are more aggressive than others. I know from my dogs how they respond. As you know, you've met my crazy Wheaten Terriers, but they respond to things in different ways, and they're not as compliant when it comes to recall and things like that. So we have to deal with them in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. Every dog has got their different breed specifics, you know, what they're originally bred for, like you mentioned, you know, the terriers, you know, where they're that tenacity in them that I'm going to keep going and get the prey, you know, the prey drive instinct in is in all dogs. It's been ingrained in them for thousands of years, or every dog has got prey drive. But again, on the different breeds, there's different levels of prey drive instinct. You know, the dogs that are bred for lap dogs haven't got a massive prey drive, but you're talking about border collies, those sort of dogs, you know, are trained for herding sheep because they've got a very high prey drive, you know, and everything in between. And that's the whole thing. Dogs were specifically, you know, bred from originally from wolves thousands of years ago into the dogs that we've got today because of specific purposes that we wanted them for, you know, for protection, the guarding breeds, the German Shepherds, the Rottweilers, Dobermans, that sort of thing. You've got your hunting dogs, you know, your retrieving dogs, all got a purpose, you know. And going back to the XL bullies, what is the purpose of an XL bully apart from being, you know, a very dangerous, you know, a dog, if it wants to be? This is the thing; they don't go around killing everything, you know, 100% of the time. But the potential is there. If they have a bad day, something upsets them, and they feel they need to protect themselves or their owner, then when they do, you know, bite somebody, there's going to be an awful lot of damage, and that is the big worry about it.
And I think you're very, you know, it's a very valid point. The fact that we all have off days. But you and I can go and lock ourselves away and not be grumpy. But a dog, if it's constantly in the view of somebody and it's having a bad day, it can't tell you other than by reacting in a particular way. And I think that that's lost on people sometimes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you know, part of my job is for all different breeds is training the owner to be able to read their dog. And as I always say to people, dogs don't speak English, they speak dog. And the dog's language is based on body language, you know, the energy, the vibes that we give off, sort of thing. And that's how dogs read other dogs. That's how they read us. And that's how we need to read our dogs. What little subtle signals are they giving off? And a lot of people miss this. You know, a dog will, you know, start lip licking. You know, if they're nervous and anxious, they'll look away. They'll give the whale eye when they look through, you know, look away, but they're keeping an eye on the subject, sort of thing. All these little things, the way the ears are, the way the tails, whether it's up, down, tucked, you know, when it's moving, is it moving in, you know, slightly to the left more than the right, or was it, you know, wagging fast, slow? All this is all part of the body language, which is, in dog world, they are saying something, but the humans don't pick up on this. And if they don't pick up on these subtle signals, then the dog may progress to vocalization, the growling, but some dogs don't. And they'll go from, I've given off these signals, nobody's taken the blind bit of notice, and they go straight to the bite. And if that occurs with, say, the XL bully, then, you know, we all know what damage can be caused.
How do you think, I mean, when you were in the police, you dealt with dangerous breeds on a regular basis because that was part of your role, and the police, that evolved within the police, didn't it? When we went to banning, we had to go and assist in the retrieval of dogs, etc., etc. But how on earth do we keep getting the same dogs into the United Kingdom that have got the pit bull trait? How are they getting those dogs into the UK? Because my understanding was if the dog had that DNA, then it would be castrated, neutered, whatever, and it wouldn't be able to breed. How are we getting these dogs here?
Well, if they're not advertised, that they're part pit bull, and then, as I said, they could advertise them. Yes, they're American Bulldog crossed with a Mastiff. How would you know unless you did a DNA test?
Yeah.
But so the interesting thing is that breeders over here are buying semen from America to impregnate the females over here.
Wow.
And the importation of semen is not banned. And then you get that semen.
Oh.
What is in the DNA of that semen? No, nobody knows. If someone says, it's a bit like buying, medicines over the internet. What,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just paracetamol. Which is, do you really know? It's just what is in in that medicine? What's in the DNA of that semen? And so when you're impregnating your dog, you don't really know what you're getting. And as I said,
that's really interesting.
Going back to lockdown, where people were just playing around with the DNA and stuff, and there are some, as Stan Rawlinson says, some real Frankenstein dogs out there. Again, not all, but some.
No, and I think you've absolutely. It all makes perfect sense. I just thought that they brought them in through Northern Ireland, and because they're not banned in Southern Ireland, so they brought the dogs in through Northern Ireland and across to the UK that way.
Obviously, yeah, breeders are going to find loopholes and ways around it, like you say, pass through different countries and then they import them from somewhere else, but where did they originate from? And that's the whole thing.
And I suppose they can take their bitch overseas and put them to stud there as well. So that makes it even more difficult. What do you think the solution is, though, Steve?
Well, personally, I think right across the board, first of all, there should be bring back the dog license. For every dog owner, there should be a dog license. And perhaps, for the size of the dog, then different pricing, a bit like taxing the car. It comes in various prices. And again, insurances, again, you have to have insurance for your dog, which is great. But have different insurances for the different breeds of dogs, and if you want one of these bigger dogs, you've got to pay more for it. Hopefully that will deter a few of the scrupulous people who just want them as, protection dogs, ego dogs, whatever, status symbols, whatever they, want them for. Hopefully that will deter them from having them, because it will be expensive. It is the pure people who really want them for the genuine reasons that are happy to pay that money to get them. And I think when the legislations come through, the requirements will be that obviously they have to be insured, they will have to be registered, they will have to be muzzled, they will have to be kept on the lead. Also, I'd like to, and then if they are told as well, if anything happens with their dog, that there will be serious repercussions. There will be, a minimum of, say 5 years imprisonment, or, £100,000 fines or something like that. Again, people are going to think, actually, am I the right person for this dog? Do I really need this? And that's the thing.
Do you think because the police have stepped back from the way that they deal with dogs, they no longer take strays in, they don't have that interaction, it's all left to the local authorities. Do you think there's more of an enforcement side that the police should be involved in?
I think purely for the registration and legislation of them, so we know who has got these dogs. It's the same if you wanted to have a pet lion. You've got to be, you can have them, but you've got to be registered. You've got to have the licensing, the proper licensing, and they got to know where you are, what facilities you're keeping them in, and it should be the same for these potentially dangerous dogs, because they are potentially wild animals.
Oh, that's really interesting, because it's like you say, if they're chipped, which every dog should be chipped.
Yeah.
And people take their dogs into the vets, or if there's a dog been involved in an incident, gets taken into the vet, and they try and track the owner, and quite often the owner isn't the person that was originally blah blah blah. But if there was a national database, irrespective of where the dog attacks or wherever there's an issue, if there's a national database, then that would solve so many problems and put more onus onto the owners.
That's it. It has the onus has got to be on the owners, and if there is, then as I said, certain people will, withdraw from that and start thinking seriously about owning these dogs. And the people that are owning them are going to be the serious people who will put the time and effort that's needed into training their dogs and protecting the members of the public. Because again, people can have one of these dogs and as they say, oh yeah, my dog is fine with me. They've been brought up with the kids. But then again, so if they go on holiday, what are they going to do with the dogs? So can they, if they're registered owners for this dog, are they going to give the dog to their great auntie Maud, who's 97, looking after their dog, or the local, dog rescue facilities or whatever, and then they've got to be registered to keep these dogs. And are they aware of the breed? Are they, capable of looking after them? There's so many, different scenarios really which need looking into.
Yeah, because there are a lot of issues around rescues out of all breeds, because you don't know what the background is. All right, someone's saying, no, they're not friendly with cats and they don't like small children. That's all right when they put that, but if they don't put that and you take some of these dogs in, then there's ramifications around that as well.
Absolutely, that is the biggest thing when I'm dealing with clients with rescue dogs, particularly from abroad. One, it's like, well, what is the dog? Well, we don't know. It looks like a German Shepherd. It looks like a border collie. We think there's a collie in there. We think we don't know what is the previous history. Well, we don't know. We just found it was found on the street. So why was it on the street? Has it bitten people? And and as I said, if it's call a normal dog, for want of a better word, then we can sort of do something with it. But you get say an XL bully, a rescue XL bully, and there was in recently as well, if you've heard about it, a dog trainer who was rehabilitating an XL bully because it had bitten, who was actually killed by that dog.
Wow.
He was a dog, a dog trainer, dog behaviorist, knows what he's doing, knows how to deal with it, an adult male, but he still got killed by this XL bully. Had it been he was rehabilitating a Romanian collie cross, then yeah, he may have got bitten, but he'd probably still be here today. And this is what we're talking about.
Have you had many to look after? Have many people come to you?
I've had a few actually, and funny enough, I was training one only American Bulldog, but not an XL. Again, this is they are different. It's all part of the the same breed sort of thing. But of all the XL bullies and American Bulldogs that I've dealt with, and it's bumped into a bloke down the road who I know very well, who's got an American Bulldog as well. And they are, I've not come across an aggressive one yet.
No.
Yeah, but it's that the potential.
It is the potential. And I, even with my dogs, I wouldn't leave my granddaughter alone with them, because it's not always the dog, it's how she responds as a 2.5-year-old wandering around, doing her thing, and Absolutely. She can just wind the dog up.
And this is the thing, with the owners saying, yeah, well, I can trust my dog. My dog's 100% safe with my kids and everything, and that's it. That's fine. That's part of the pack, if you like. But if you're out on the street and some kid comes up behind the dog and pulls its tail or pokes it or something like that, is it going to back away or just growl and move away, or is it just going to react? It could be the last thing that dog ever does. And same for the kid or even an adult. That's the whole point.
When is the legislation going to bring the XL in as a banned breed? Has that been muted yet?
I don't know. I'd imagine something has got to be sorted by the end of the year, but it's always how long's a piece of string, because there is so much involved. As I said, it's going to take an awful lot of, and hopefully they do it correctly. Involving the involving the police, dog experts, breed experts, and everybody else that needs to, in councils as well. And everyone's got to be singing off the same hymn sheet and coming up with the right ideas, really, to how to control it.
I wonder what Barbara Woodhouse would say now, because she was obviously her methods are outdated. But I wonder what she'd be saying now as to what's going on with these different breeds.
Yeah, as I was saying to you earlier off air, she coined the phrase, "There's no such thing as a bad dog; it's a bad owners." But when she was talking about it back in the 70s, there were just specific breeds. You had very few crossbreeds, but over the years, obviously everything is now more crossbreeds, and rather than calling them Heinz 57s or mutts, they're all half of one dog and another. The poodle crosses, prime examples, cockapoos, doodly this and doodly that and pooey this, pooey that, whatever it's crossed with, some really weird names, but now they're in the public's eyes, they are specific breeds, but in legislation, they're not, or in the kennel club, a lot of them there aren't,
And I get it, because as an owner of Wheaton Terriers, who are a rare or become more rare because of the way that there's been this crossbreeding, we can provenance the entire line of our dogs. I know that my girl Flo, we got her from Germany. We can provenance her line right the way back. So same goes with Winnie and Ted. But you can't do that with these. But you pay more money for a crossbreed.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've got no idea where they've come from than you do for a purebred. And I get it that people go, "Oh, it's speciesism and all that." Yeah, okay, fine. But actually, it's maintaining a true standard within that particular breed.
And then the classic example is with cockapoos. There is a well-known thing with cocker spaniels called cocker age, if you've heard of it, with certain normally one color dogs. I like red particularly, or brown rather than sort of mottled colors. But because they are being bred with poodles, we are finding more and more cockapoos are getting this cocker age because of the the percentage of cocker spaniel in that dog. And I have had experience with a dog that did have a cockapoo that had cocker age and would just bite willy-nilly for no reason at all.
Really?
They had to be put down because of it, because it was basically neurological. The problems were neurological, not behavioural. Which was a shame, but my clients did everything they possibly could with my assistance to turn that dog around, but it would just bite for no reason at all because of this cocker age. And now because they're crossbreeding that into other dogs, it's like a virus. It can go out, go to anything really. And this is, as I said, the same with XL bullies. As I said, what's their DNA, and where does it stop, sort of thing. But the difference is just in the pure size of the dogs. In the last year, there's been six deaths, all related to XL bullies, which is a ridiculous statistic.
Is there any other breed that's comparable? Has there been other issues with other breeds? Have other people died by a Chihuahua's gone for somebody's jugular?
Well, yeah, obviously, children are being bitten all the time by their family dogs and, pet dogs and stuff like that, but because of, if they get bitten by a Chihuahua, as I said earlier, the chances of someone dying, unless it's a really young baby, is very, very, very slim, but basically a large breed dog can kill anything, but yes, should we brand all large dogs? But you're talking about your German Shepherds, your Rottweilers and stuff like that, the percentage of deaths occurred by them is very, very small. But yes, over the years, if you looked into it, yes, there would be an example of someone dying from being attacked from their dog. But yeah, the XL bullies, as I said, they were bred to be feared. Who DNA? They are a ticking time bomb, basically. And I always use the sort of the analogy of like hand grenades, if you like. You know, the Chihuahua, you know, it's got teeth, it can hurt, you know, if it goes off, but that's a very small hand grenade. And the chance and the pin in the hand grenade is not likely to come out. But if it does and it goes off, it'll cause damage, but hopefully no one's going to die from it. Go through the different breeds of dogs, you get up to the XL bully, which is a massive hand grenade, but the pin is very, very loose. And the potential of that pin falling out and it going off is, you know, quite big. In the right hands, people with military experience and people that know how to handle these big hand grenades will make sure it's in a secure box and it's not left on the table to be knocked off. It's put in a secure cabinet, pretty much like firearms, you know. But if that hand grenade got left out, you know, in the wrong, I'll just leave it on the table for now and I'll come back and put it away. And then some kid comes in and takes it out of the box and the hand grenade, the pin falls out of the hand grenade, then the explosion is going to be catastrophic.
Steve, your explanation has been insightful as ever. Thank you so much for today. I'm going to put all your links into the body of the podcast. You're there to help people. You're contactable. Everything will be there, and you're available as and when people need your assistance.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, people can contact me directly through my website, and yeah, travel throughout the whole of the UK. So wherever you are, whatever your problem, give me a shout.
Thank you very much. And as I say to everybody, have you got anything you'd like to add, alter, or correct about today's interview?
I don't think I'm happy so far.
Thanks so much for listening to this podcast. Is Steve right or is Steve wrong? If you think you've got a better view or an opinion that you'd like to share with everybody in relation to this subject, please feel free to contact me on the email shown above. Thanks so much. Take care, and I'll speak to you all soon.